Hey, this is Tim with the Texas weather forecast for Sunday, and we're going to look back on Saturday's conditions. This is at about 9:45 a.m. What do we have here? You probably recognize the debris cloud. There we go, right there over North Texas into Northwest Texas, and even a few elevated showers right there around Childress and south of Vernon. Elsewhere, we've got pretty clear skies, and maybe not so much due to high heights and high pressure, but likely an infiltration of drier air. I'm going to show that to you on the surface chart. Let me run this forward, and we'll take a look at what's going on. Elevated storms right there near south of Vernon. You can see that the colder tops kind of dissipate a little bit, and we end up with more of a cirriform appearance. But there's a little bit of outflow that's continuing to progress southwestward through around Archer City, Scotland, and Graham. We do have thunderstorms forming way out there in West Texas. It appears the dry air is really infiltrated westward. See these cloud streets right there? Where the cumulus clouds appear to be aligned. This is low-level flow going from east to west. So there we go. That traces pretty much what we're going to see on the surface chart. And that air is originating from the Great Lakes. There's kind of a cool, high-pressure area, and that's sent a little bit of cool air our way. Of course, we haven't seen 80s or 70s or anything like that, but it's been better. The radar right now just showing a few straggling thunderstorms around the Lubbock and Amarillo area. And what does the surface chart look like here? This is what it looked like around the heat of the day, 5 p.m., and you can see that northeasterly flow coming across Texas like that. So that's a big difference from what we usually have this time of year, where we would see southerly flow coming up from the Gulf. And if you look at the dew points, that's the value in the lower left. That's an indication of the total moisture available near the surface. We're seeing very dry conditions. This is 50s. A lot of, see, we got 56 there in Waco, 58 in Austin. That's very dry air. If we take the isodrosotherm of 60-degree temperatures, this would be like marginal moisture for shower and thunderstorm development. It's going to look something like, trace that around like that. And then let me draw a quick 65 in here. I'm going to go very quickly. So we trace that around, and it's going to go something like that. So there's 65, and there's 60. And if we draw 55, we can do that really quick. And what this is showing us is that there's this tongue of drier air coming into Texas from Arkansas, Mississippi, and Louisiana. So with the high backing off, normally we probably would see a few showers and thunderstorms, but this dry air has kind of shut that down for the most part. It confined it to West Texas, in this area where there's a little bit better moisture. So we've seen it up in the upper 90s. We had a little bit of a break, but be glad you're not in Iraq. This is the chart for Iraq, showing the temperatures at the heat of the day there. See a lot of 121, 120, and these are properly sheltered thermometers. So this isn't like exaggeration from somebody on the internet. This is actual 120-degree readings. We very rarely see that in the U.S. at major airports. Phoenix got up to that value a couple times, I think at least once in June of 1990. They got up to 121 there. But it's very uncommon except in places like, of course, Death Valley. And a little bit of sandstorm activity there. See that S there? They've probably had a few high-based showers go up and probably lofted a little bit of dust in the air. Well, anyway, don't want to see any more of that hot air, so let's move on with our forecast. Forecast is looking like this. This is the 250 millibar chart up at 34,000 feet. And it's showing high pressure across. Okay, we need to update this real quick. This is showing yesterday's data. So to do that, I'm going to reload the chart. And wait for it to update here. Set that to... There we go, the second. Now, we've only got about 72 hours of data because the models are still running right now. They don't really finish until about midnight, and it's 11:22 p.m. as I do this presentation. But so what I'll do is I'll back this up to the 18Z run, and we'll load that. That should still give us a pretty good representation of what we're going to see over the next several days. So starting there at noon yesterday on Saturday, high pressure over the Dallas-Fort Worth area and the polar front jet. It's like kind of a split flow here, one up in the Great Lakes, another around Arizona up to Omaha. This probably could be a subtropical jet, actually. But let's take a look. Run that forward. What happens to the high? Well, it kind of lingers there around Louisiana. So kind of hanging on there. So it's looking pretty dry, at least for the next few days. And then we kind of get grazed around Friday by some stronger flow to the north. So this will affect areas mostly along the Red River and the Panhandle, and we'll have to watch out for a little bit of that nocturnal thunderstorm activity getting into next week. So during the actual part of next week, it looks like that high pressure builds in by Sunday. This would be August 9th, and now we're getting into crystal ball territory. But it's still hanging on to the idea of a little bit of northerly flow opening up around the middle of next month. That would increase the precip chances, so we'll keep an eye on that. And one panel I want to show you really quick. I'm going to have to update that also. That's the surface chart. We haven't really looked at this too much, but now that we have easterly flow coming in from the Mississippi and Ohio River Valley, this is going to be worth taking a look really quick. See it right there, that easterly flow coming into Texas, like that. And a little bit of high pressure out over the Ozarks. That high pressure is kind of driving that flow southeastward. So one factor here is going to be whether we get southerly flow redeveloping next week. So that would kind of give us a return back to the old pattern we were in. And it does look like that probably redevelops around Monday. Not very strong, though. Just kind of a light southerly flow through the middle of the week. So it looks like we're kind of going to get into that pattern we had last week. Maybe, I don't know about the temperatures. We may see a little bit of moderation because of that infusion of cooler air into the Gulf. So I think we're going to see temperatures probably hanging around the mid to upper 90s, maybe touching 100. It's like another shot of cooler air coming into the southern U.S. See, there's that front right there. This is going to be about Friday next week. This will be our next chance for rain. And especially when we have a front like this, we're going to be watching for thunderstorm development along that boundary. So I think our chances for rain are going to go up pretty significantly by Friday, Saturday in the northern half of Texas up in this area. Then after that, flow washes out. You can kind of see that front kind of sitting in this area right there. So it looks like we'll have a few days over the weekend of possible rain, scattered showers hanging around. And then after that, we're going to watch for that northerly flow starting to build back in around mid-month. But that is quite a ways out. So that's your mid-weekend forecast, and we'll see you tomorrow.